Hello everyone. I am Shantanu Bhattacharya from Canberra, Australia, and I would like to take about your 10 minutes to discuss what we do as our business in PhonePass. Let's start by discussing the problem at hand. 40% of the world population has experienced identity fraud at least once in their life. That's a staggering number considering we are considering 40% of the world population. Also, only 40% of businesses are really confident that they can detect fraud. We are not talking about prevention here, just detection of fraud. The number of organizations that can even prevent fraud is even lesser. And 83% of all records stolen in first half of 2018 actually involved identity theft of one kind or the other. If we try to look at the cost of identity fraud, the direct cost, US had 24.7 billion USD lost in 2012. In Australia, that figure is around $1.6 billion, Australian dollars. But if we consider worldwide, it exceeds well over 50 billion US dollars per annum. And if we now think of the indirect costs arising out of the direct cost of identity theft, like, any kind of other implications, then it is normally estimated around 10 times more than the direct cost, which makes it more than 500 billion USD per annum. In the recent past, about 141 criminals were arrested from 226 airports worldwide. They were all identity thieves. They had stolen credit cards and used them to buy airline tickets. The victims go through full overhauling of their lives to prevent recurrence. Sometimes they have to change their lifestyle completely or even file bankruptcy to prevent recurrence. Sadly, in some other cases, they cannot ensure prevention of recurrence at all. One such example is the Western Australian driver's license number. In Western Australia, if you apply for a driver's license, you get a driver's license with a driver's license number. But that number sticks to you for life. You cannot change that number ever, even if you can prove to the West Australian government that you are victim of identity fraud related to your driver's license. So what is the solution then? We at PhonePass would like to reduce identity fraud significantly. We would like to bring back trust on internet and on digital transactions. We use device biometrics for that purpose. That is a term that we have coined. And device biometrics actually means identifying the device characteristics from its hardware, which is the remnant of the manufacturing process. Let me explain a little more in detail. As we all know, no two devices can be manufactured exactly the same, however accurate the assembly line is. We in PhonePass can detect and measure these differences, and that actually provides us with an opportunity to identify 1 in a trillion device. And as a result, we can provide better security to all internet connected devices worldwide. The number of internet connected devices is exploding very fast, and it is estimated to be around 50 billion internet connected devices by end of this year, that is 2020. We will ensure that all communicating parties, whether it is human or a device, can exactly identify who they are talking to and identify the parties talking to each other. Or otherwise, if it is a person trying to perform a digital transaction or a device performing a digital transaction, we can identify uniquely that person or the device. So let's look at what kind of validation we have received and what milestones we have achieved till now. Our technology is patent pending, has almost completed the international phase, and haven't received any objections so far, which indicates that we will be able to get the patents in the countries, specific countries, when we apply to them. Our technology is also endorsed by Gartner. We have 3 different organizations expressing interest in our technology. They would like to use our technology. One of them is a global cybersecurity vendor with large banks in their portfolio. The second one is a large water project in Australia, which plans to dispense about 130,000 gigaliter of water. And they would like to plug the fraud in water distribution. And the third one is a startup with Fortune 500 companies among their clients. We have also carried out an end-to-end proof of concept to demonstrate that our technology works. And this particular proof of concept actually starts with a demo retailer website where a person tries to make a purchase. And after the purchase request has been made, the individual's mobile app is activated to authenticate using our technology. And when that is triggered and the data is actually passed on by the user after providing permission to the sensor data, that data is sent to the AWS backend for processing using our proprietary algorithms to generate a fingerprint or a biometric, and then it returns to the website. So the website can complete the transaction by verifying that it is the individual that the individual is claiming to be. We have completed the international phase of patenting. We had applied through the World Intellectual Property Organization, WIPO, and that is a 2.5-year process which we have completed till now. Now let's look at the next milestones that we have to achieve, get to. One is we need to actually obviously build a fully developed and tested solution before we can do production testing. So as a cybersecurity solution, we want to do adequate testing to make sure nobody actually suffers as a consequence of our product usage. We also need to get into the national phase of every individual country. We are planning to be a global business, and in that regard, we would like to actually get into the national phase of many countries where we would like to get into business. And we would also like to develop solution for other use cases. Our solution can actually be used in many use cases, and we will see that a little more when we get to the appropriate point. Our team is comprised of 4 of us. Dennis, who is our CEO candidate and is located in Canberra, Australia. He has successfully exited a startup. Myself, the CTO, and based in Canberra as well, and have 25 years or more of IT experience, have multiple invention disclosures to my name. Then the third or remaining two people are advisor and endorsers from Silicon Valley. One of them is a VP of Intel and other a director of Google. Now let's look at the various uses of the technology. We have actually identified only 5 use cases for now, and they can be two-factor authentication, IoT security, chip counterfeiting, smart lock operation remotely, SIM swapping fraud. And with just these 5, we get a total addressable market of $43.76 billion per annum. Now, when we compare ourselves with the competition, we find that there are no competitors who have the kind of accuracy that we offer. As you can see from the graph, that the usability of the system and the security level and the cost is, we have attained a kind of a sweet spot, which actually makes us very unique. Now let's consider some of the advantages which we have over our competition. We comply with all privacy regulations worldwide, like PDPA, valid in Singapore, GDPR, valid in EU and rest of the world wherever EU citizens reside, notifiable data breach of Australia and CCPA of California. And we can do this because we never collect any personally identifiable information. We only have the device biometrics which we use for our purposes. And we are at least 9.9 million times more accurate than the best biometric solution available, iris scan. And iris scan is very difficult to administer because it's difficult to actually scan the iris. We also provide a security strength of a hardware security token while costing like a software-based security without having the hassle of distribution, maintenance, repair, or replacement. And we can easily detect and prevent replay attacks and man-in-the-middle attacks. We also know that even if hackers are able to get to our backend databases, they will not be able to extract anything that would be meaningful to them. But we still provide a lot of security controls on the database, we are confident that hackers wouldn't get there, but we are just saying that just in case they did get there, they wouldn't be able to make head or tail of it. We have done financial projection very conservatively. And as you can see, the year 1 income is 5.4 million and the year 2 income is 21.6 million. So the income of year 1 and year 2 together is 27 million USD. The operating profit in year 1 is 2 million. For year 3 is 47 million approximately. And for year 5, it is 127 million USD. This is all assuming that we get the funding for operationalization, and this is year one post the operationalization fund. We have also done a go-to-market strategy. We have computed till phase 3, or rather we have strategized till phase 3. Phase 1 is more of licensing the technology to 2FA and IoT vendors. Phase 2 is more of mass market 2FA and IoT vendors. Market. And phase 3 is specializing in device and IoT authentication and tracking. In phase 1, we are actually looking for licensing the technology to large cybersecurity vendors, either in 2FA or IoT market. In phase 2, we will get into the mass market by actually partnering with retailers. So there again, we are going to use retailers as the channel partners. And now let's talk about what we are looking for from investors. We are looking for either of 150,000 Australian dollars for entering the national phase of patenting at 2% equity, or USD 6 million to operationalize the solution and entering national phase of patenting at 20% equity. So as you can see, the first one assumes the valuation to be 7.5 million Australian dollars. And the next one assumes the valuation of 30 million US dollars. So there is a big disparity. The reason for that is the 150,000 Australian dollars we need by April end 2020, because that is critical for our patenting process. And as we understand that investors would be actually providing us with that kind of money in the right time frame. So we are incentivizing the investors by providing more value to them. You would also have a question in mind as to how we have valued ourselves as USD 30 million. Let's get into the details. We have used two valuation methods. The first one is the IP valuation method, and we have used two reference websites for that. One is the Queensland government website, and the other is the website from a private organization called Vincent's, an insight providing company. Both of them suggest that future income generation based on licensing the technology is a valid method for IP valuation. And as we have seen before, considering the future income generation method, only using 2 years of income, not 5, 2 years of income, the valuation would stand at USD 27 million. The second valuation which we do is a valuation based on similar company valued in the market. And that valuation is based on cybersecurity, which is our market segment, and for similar stage companies. We have looked at that for Q2 2018, and in Q2 2018 our valuation turned out to be about USD 30 million. If we look at the valuation at the end of Q4 2019, that valuation is much higher at 142 million. But we are happy to go with the valuation of around 30 million as is shown here. Now, that is all the information that I would like to share with you today. I am happy to actually help you answer more questions that you might have. So if you are interested in knowing more or are interested in investing, we are very keen to actually talk to you. Thank you very much.